welcome once again to the Waters and Stanton video channel. My name's Peter Waters and my call sign is Golf 3 Oscar Juliet Victor. Our group of companies based at Milton Keynes are the prime sponsors, prime UK sponsors for WRTC 2026. That's the World Radio Team Championships 2026 to be held in July. Our group of companies are always keen to promote the hobby of ham radio and help where we can. And this is a great opportunity for us to get very much involved in WRTC 2026 and provide some financial help. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with the name of Begali, who make a very fine range of Morse keys, paddle keys and so forth. And they have produced a special key to commemorate WRTC 2026. But not only to commemorate it, but also to provide financial assistance. And they've asked us to be the distributor for this key in the UK. And this is the key here. It's a commemorative key, and it will also provide funds for WRTC 2026. So what I want to do is to just run through the basics of this key, how it works, what it comprises of, and if you decide to buy one of these keys, you can be assured that part of the money will go towards financing WRTC 2026, and it might also become a collector's item. I don't normally do unpackaging videos, but here's an exception. It's well packed. Bits and pieces in the top here, a bit of paperwork, and key is well packed with polystyrene, etc. And if I get this out, gosh, it's heavy. There we are. That's the Begali key. Inside the box is a catalogue of their keys. I didn't actually realise they made so many different keys. Quite a selection. I haven't opened it, but inside there's this little packet which is like a cleaning strip, which I think you run through the contacts to clean it occasionally, which is quite handy. But anyway, I haven't opened that, I'll leave that. There's also some instructions in the box warning you not to take the key apart, so I will refrain from undoing the screws. There's some basic information on a sheet here with a QR code, so let's see what happens. Oh, there we are. Yes, to read that. So let's see how much it weighs by putting it on the kitchen scales here. And what's that? It's about a bit under, it's about 1.4 kilos. Let's zoom in. That means to say there's no way that key is going to move about on the desk. Now I have to say that the Begali keys are top range, so you might call them professional keys, the Rolls Royce of paddle keys. Not the sort of key that I'm used to actually. I mean, I'm quite keen on CW, but I've always been a bit frugal with my keys. I know that a lot of the CW operators cherish their keys and they've usually got a selection. Well, I've got a selection, but my selection is not quite the selection that perhaps many CW operators would approve of. Let me show you my keys that I've been using recently. Actually, this is one of the smarter keys I use. It's a little travel key. We saw them actually. It's not nearly as smart as the Begali. It's not heavy at all. I think the idea is you hold it in your hand and you sort of use it that way. But and this folds away like that. So it's quite nice, but it's not the Begali class. I've got a little plug-in key, paddle key for my KX2, which works fine actually. The great thing about this is it makes the whole thing very compact. But again, it's not quite the same quality as the upper market keys. This is actually one of the crudest keys I've got. It's an MFJ key. I've actually got one of these just on its own. This is plugged into an electronic keyer. But basically it's a couple of bits of spring metal going against contacts. Nothing wrong with it, it actually works. I have used it, and I've used the other one as well, which is just the key itself. And that works, but it lacks the finesse. It doesn't look the part, does it? Actually, I do have a somewhat smarter key, which I tend to use mainly for base station use, is this Vibraplex key. It was a special edition key made on behalf of, or made for the RSGP on behalf of Vibraplex. Actually, this key was actually given to me on my 70th birthday, because it's the 70th edition out of 250. So it was given to me by the staff on my 70th birthday. So it's 12 years old. So it is a sort of quality key. Still works okay, but it'll be good to compare this key with the Begali. The Begali key is a square key, and it's quite compact, so it would be the sort of key that you could take around with you if you were operating portable or something like that, or maybe in a contest at a different location. Now, the actual output of the key in output line is a 3.5mm socket. So in order to connect this key to your transceiver, you'd need to have a 3.5mm plug lead that goes in that end, and one to suit your rig. I've got the ASO FT710, and that's got a 3.5mm key input anyway, so I've got a 3.5mm lead, a sort of a stereo lead you might get from anywhere really on Amazon for £2 or £3. And unlike other keys, it's not hardwired. You connect a lead into it. And I suppose in some respects that makes it more portable. You can take it around with you. On each side of the key, you've got two adjustments. This one here adjusts the travel of the key. In other words, it adjusts the distance between the contacts, and you can adjust that so it's quite close, or you can adjust it so that you've got more movement on the key. This other control here is the magnet return. It actually controls the feel of the key and how much pressure needs to be put on the key. And there's a similar set of controls on the other side of the key. The actual paddles, you'll see that they are shaped. The idea of this shape in here at the bottom is so that you can rest your hand in a suitable position. This is a position I tend to use the key in. I've got my lower fingers on the desk, and I've got my thumb and first finger controlling the paddles. You also notice that the paddles are lined, or they're embossed slightly, which actually gives quite a nice feel. A lot of paddles are smooth, but these have got a slight embossed texture to them, and I find that's fine. Now, I haven't taken the top off because there are warnings about taking screws out, but you can actually get to the contacts with this little cleaning strip that they provide. You can put that strip in the back there, and you can clean the contacts, and that should suffice in order to keep the key in good condition. And of course, to retain long-term cleanliness, you can put your key to bed with the nice Begali cloth that comes with the key. By the way, underneath each of these keys is a serial number, and this one you can see is WRTC 2026 serial number 004, because these are a limited edition key. So this is number 4. And if I bring the camera in close, I think you'll just be able to see the contacts. These are silver contacts. They're made of silver, and I think you can just see those contacts moving there. Now, when you're looking at a key like the Begali key, it's a serious purchase, and I know many CW operators collect keys anyway. And the Begali key is obviously a collector's item because it's a special edition, limited edition. I don't know how many they're going to make, but it's a limited edition for WRTC 2026. But also it's a question of how do you feel with the key, the comfort factor, how it feels when you operate the key. Now, this, of course, is very, very difficult to convey in a video. I can only give you my own personal opinion. But I would say this key has been based on the Begali Expedition key. And so in that respect, in terms of feel, it must be very similar or exactly the same. But as I say, it's very difficult to actually quantify how it feels in a video. But of course, if you're a serious CW operator, you may already know the feel of Begali keys. I mean, there are other keys, of course, available, but we're just concentrating on this particular key. So I would now try and summarise my own feelings of using this key, and hope that at least it gives you some idea. I thought I'd do a comparison between the Begali and the Vibraplex. You can immediately see the Vibraplex is at least twice the size in terms of length to the Begali. The other thing you'll notice is that the Vibraplex hasn't got the shaped paddle levers that the Begali's got. And if you remember earlier on, I said that it's very easy to use this, depends on, well, irrespective of how your hand is resting on the desk, it's very easy to use. With the Vibraplex, you've lost that extension there, so there is a slight disadvantage there, I suppose. But one thing that I did notice, and the thing that really I noticed in feel, and it's very difficult to describe, is on the Vibraplex key, which I've used for quite a while, you can feel the leverage. You can feel there's a length of leverage there. It's difficult to quantify. If I use the Begali key, I can feel there's a very short leverage there. Whereas on this Vibraplex, you can actually feel the length of the lever. And it creates a slight amount of play. It's only when you compare it with the Begali that you notice it. There is a slight amount of play in the lever here, which there's not with the Begali. So the Begali does seem to be firmer. Both sit quite happily on the desk, but I think out of choice I would have the Begali if I had the choice. But on the other hand, if I hadn't tried the Begali, I'd be equally happy with the Vibraplex. So it's a question of personal choice, really. So the main difference is that you haven't got the lever extension that you've got on the Begali, and you've got this sort of slight flex in the key, which you can definitely feel when you compare one with the other. Now, as for sending, I tend to use a paddle key side to side. In other words, if I'm sending CQ, I tend not to use iambic keying, which, if I can do it, is so far less movements, but I tend to do it like that. I guess with a bit of practice I could get used to iambic keying, but I'm quite happy with that. Now, as regards sending, how do you demonstrate it? Well, it's a key. It's a key, and it sends CW, and I don't have any problem with it. I think that I do like these extension pieces here. The shafts of the paddles are aluminium or some form of alloy, and somebody once said that it gets cold in the cold weather, or perhaps it does get cold in the cold weather. I'm operating this in the summer, and is it cold? I suppose it's a bit cool. It's not quite as comfortable as plastic, but you know, who cares? So yeah, keying, no problem. And if we do it at speed, if I can, what are we at the moment? Yeah. There we are. One mistake there. So there we are. That's the Begali key. I've thoroughly enjoyed using it over the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's a very nicely engineered key. I don't think anybody would criticise Begali engineering. And as I say, this one is modelled on their Expedition version. It's a special edition, so it's got the various dedications written on it to WRTC 2026. And we've got this key now in stock, so do bear in mind that part of the proceeds of the sale of this key does go to WRTC 2026, and we are fully supporting that event July next year. In the meantime, thank you for your support on this channel. It's much appreciated. I hope that I've done this key justice. I do enjoy CW, but I wouldn't say that I'm an expert CW operator. There's plenty of operators there that are far better than I am. And if you want to see some really good CW operators, then look at WRTC 2026. I think you'll find some pretty skillful CW operators there. Do appreciate your support on this channel. By the way, I noticed that the price has come down now on the ICOM IC7300. If you haven't checked that out, it's less than £1,000 now. If you haven't checked that out, go onto our website. You'll see it's a good price. And it's always been a great transceiver since it was first introduced quite a few years ago now. And I had one for about 4 or 5 years actually. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So if you're looking for an ICOM IC7300, there's a bargain to be had on our website. There we are. You take care, you enjoy your ham radio, and as usual, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.